An appalling stillness intensifies the suspense. He fires, and tons of coal burst nature's shackles of millions of years, eager to do man's bidding in home and industry.
With the discovery and development of anthracite coal, I mean, that really changed everything for the region. I mean, it created jobs, it created industry, and then it created the population that we have today.
It drove the Industrial Revolution in the Northeast. That's probably the easiest way in a nutshell to put it. It drove it. Steam locomotives used it for many, many years. They used it for power generation later on here in this area, not so much exported. Home heat was, of course, always its home market. Everybody used it. Years ago, before natural gas got out of the cities, because it was only, at first, only in major large metropolitan areas, had natural gas. No one used oil. No one used heating oil. Coal's only competition for nearly its first century was wood. Wood was its only competition, and coal was far more efficient.
Anthracite coal, which is already a very nearly pure form of carbon as well, it's in the ground, so you have to go get it, size it, and then it's ready to go. So it had a significant impact on American industry because it was a mass-produced fuel that was readily available. And there are some statistics that look at the number of blast furnaces in Pennsylvania, in the 1820s compared to the 1840s, and there was a significant jump in blast furnaces. There was a significant jump in the use of steam engines. So really, by making anthracite available to industry in the United States, it really gave a huge boost to production.
But then First World War started, and all oil, gasoline was needed for the war effort. And so the coal business really picked up big time. 1917 till after the First World War, it really picked up big time. And then the war was over, oil heat, electric heat went big time. Well, once the Second World War started, and when the Second World started, coal built up big again from 1940 right to 46. And then actually, when the Second World War was over, then coal really went downhill pretty much.
In the mine itself, typically working in a chamber or chute, it depends what area, it's called a chamber, just chute, same kind of deal. You're going to have a miner and a laborer today, and years ago, same kind of setup. The miner, he's the one that's experienced. He's the one that's going to be teaching the laborer how to mine coal. He's going to say, here's how you drill, here's how you set your timber, here's how you set up your airflow to get air up into the face so you can get all the dust and gas out. Here's how you can check for gas. He's teaching you. But what you're going to do when you start off is you're going to drill the face, you're going to fire that off, you're going to put your timber in to make sure nothing comes down on you, you're going to be checking gas all the time. I mean, there's a bunch of little steps in doing it, but probably to oversimplify it, it's drill, blast, load. And you just repeat that over and over and over again. And
laborers were generally either new immigrants or younger people that were in the process of becoming miners. When the coal got to the surface, it would then be taken into a breaker, which would break the coal into sizes that were usable or sellable. So you didn't want a big piece of coal like that. You wanted a piece of coal that was this size or smaller, the size of your fist or smaller, so it would burn. So you would have different types of sizing equipment. You've got people that are running the breaker. So there you've heard of breaker boys. So they'd be the ones that would be sitting in chutes or above chutes, and as coal passed through, underneath their legs, they would have to pull out the stuff that wasn't coal. So slate, it's also called a slate picker because you often find slate with coal seams. And that was also a job that was held by people that were too old to mine underground anymore or injured. So they would at least have some occupation.
You always want to work safe. You always want to do that. You're looking out for, they tell you to watch out for number one. Well, number one's you. You're watching out for your own neck. But you're trying to protect the guy working with you too. He's watching you, you're watching him. But it's the same kind of thing. Roof fall, bad timber, gas. You got to be careful with the explosive. You don't want premature blast. Hang fire, which is a shot that doesn't go off. Very dangerous situation there. Water, inundation if you're in a mine that's maybe next to an old mine that might not be mapped real well.
There are some statistics that from the mid-1800, mid-19th century up until the early 20th century, 35,000 people were killed underground. And that doesn't include the number of people that were injured or died later of black lung. So because of the nature of anthracite mining, where you've got a lot of steep pitches, you tend to have a lot of dangerous roofs, because you might blast something out, but you've got rock that you might be loosening up ahead, and that could fall. And that was a common, I shouldn't say common, I mean that was a source of a lot of injuries.
But it's dangerous. It's definitely dangerous. Premature blasts, work with explosives. I mean, a blasting cap, so they're about the size of a pencil, but they're real short. And they range about from maybe an inch long to about 3 inches long. Just that blasting cap, they'll take your hand off. If you're holding on to it and it goes off, they'll take your hand right off. I mean, this is not this isn't stuff you want to be messing with. It's dangerous.
So good. And mining wasn't a bad job when you come down to it. In fact, I even loved it because this was something new. When I started in here, I was about 60 years old. I took a pension at 59 from Bethlehem Steel, and I was about 60 when I started here. And this was completely new to me. And I loved it because it was altogether different.